circumstance of the position, I found was highly effective in making those connections with people in the community that I really wanted to touch base with right away. Now, once you get outside the school, there's the idea of further connecting broadly. That's what I did very much in the beginning. And I know that we can all relate to this, that there's life inside of a school and there's life outside of a school. And there's things that occur in the larger community that come inside the school. So I made it a point too. I made a connection with the mayor of Norwood very early on. I was very lucky. I worked in Harrington Park. The Harrington Park mayor invited the mayor of Norwood and myself out to lunch, and the three of us got a bite to eat together. I reached out to the police officers in town. You know, every year we do a memorandum of agreement with the police, but it was very nice to reach out to them. I also reached out to other community groups, the religious leaders in town. I had lunch yesterday with Reverend Thiessen from the Episcopal Church in Norwood, and we're working on a partnership for a mentoring program right now. So I really reached out to those people. The other thing I did too was I walked across the street to the Norwood Public Library. I walked in and I said, "Hi, how are you? I'm Brian Gatens. I'm the new superintendent. I just wanted to come in and say hello," and that blew them away. They had spoken about how they really hadn't felt that connection with the people in town. What's nice is that connecting broadly bore fruit for us, because during the course of the year, we worked on a shared service agreement with the town, where the town now cuts the grass of Norwood Public School. The DPW takes care of all of our landscaping. It's a significant cost savings for the district, and I was able to foster a relationship that didn't previously exist before I got there. I'm not quite sure of the relationship, but there wasn't a whole lot of connection between the town and the school up until that point. A story I like to tell is that, and Michael knows, Mike drives by it every day, we had these car barriers out on our back lawn. We have a very busy road that goes by our school, and this district years ago had put telephone poles. They basically took old telephone poles and they laid them down along the road. So God forbid someone would drive a car, they covered the telephone poles. Well, they were rotted, they were bee infested, they weren't aesthetically unpleasing. The guys from the town who were cutting our lawn hated those poles. They always got chased by the bees, they didn't like the way they looked, the whole 9 yards. They said to me, they said, "If you pay for the dumpster, we'll take care of the poles and we'll bring in boulders." And it was, I joke, it was the world's fastest public works project. I said yes on a Monday. We had a dumpster on Tuesday. DPW, they showed up on Wednesday. They put all of the poles in on Wednesday, and they put all the boulders in on Thursday. So now out behind the school, we had this very aesthetically pleasing, very safe, still car stoppers. We had these rocks up behind the building, and that only happened because we made connections with those people in town. And we did a nice favor too. Like, for example, the town now purchases all of their cleaning supplies for town hall through our school. So they reimburse us, and we supply them with those items. And that's really a very, very nice connection that we saw in Norwood that bore fruit.
I just want to take it one step further, if I can, just interject.
Yep.
The connection with the mayor is also important, because not only do you get into those situations where you can share services, but also for those districts who are still voting on their budget, who haven't moved to November. If, for instance, your budget does not pass by the public, you then have to meet with the mayor and the council, and then there's a very likely chance that they're going to cut money out of your budget. So that connection and that relationship with the mayor is important, because we were able to form a very good relationship with our mayor and council years ago before we had moved the election, and on that year that we didn't pass, there was really nothing taken out of our budget by the mayor and council, because they understood the consequences and the financial situation the district was in.
And there are some towns that don't enjoy that. There's some towns where it's like this,
right,
banging head to head. So we're very lucky, and we're very lucky, both of us, in that regard with that. This next one is one of my favorite things I learned in my first year. Find the oracles. And this is one of those like nitty gritty, like behind the scene, like new superintendent thing to do. Like, it's nice to say talk to the mayor. That's what you're supposed to do. Finding the oracles. Basically, there will be people in your district who know the culture of the district. We found our oracle in our main office. Our main office secretary, her mother was a secretary for 26 years. She's been a secretary for 12 years. And she knows everything about the district in terms of relationships and culture and what does when and who does what. And they kind of, they're like scientists, and they're peeking into DNA. They know how the human genome is built. That's what they're like. So I really encourage you to find those people early. and if they could be trusted, to get feedback and hear from them in a very informal sort of way about what should or shouldn't be done in the district. I might reference this again later, but it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we have a Grandparents' Day in Norwood. It's like the biggest deal in the world. It's like people, and it's then because grandparents come in for the holidays, they're in town, they come in a day early for this. We're having a general conversation about a year ago about school scheduling, and that was brought up as possibly moving that date. Just purely conversation. The minute our oracle got wind of that, she basically said to us, "You are out of your mind if you change that date." That is so ingrained and so hardwired into the community that there would literally be an uproar. Now to us it was just a meeting, it was just an assembly, it was just a presentation. Why can't we do it in December? But she understood the way that those things worked. What we like to do too is we also gave that secretary, we gave her an award at graduation, just for the hard work that she's done for us the entire year. I think oracles are found in the main offices. I think they're found in your buildings and grounds guys. I think they're found in your dedicated and trusted teachers. Good people to turn to when you're doing your work. This was an important one for Norwood, and this is one of those identify, don't compare ones, because we're relatively small, but I really focused early on in my tenure, the transition into the seat, and then when I sat in the seat, of learning the infrastructure of the district. Districts are complicated places. And there's two faces that organizations have. They have an outward-facing one, and they have an inward-facing one. And I encourage everyone here to really take time to learn the infrastructure of the district, the connections between the different departments and the areas and the people and who does what and how long they've done it. What positions have they had previously? Why are they in that new position? Why were they moved from being this advisor to that advisor, or from that grade level to this grade level? And along with that, they also really make connections with your board attorney, is huge, your head of buildings and grounds, your building level administration if you're a multi-building district, your child study team director, and your school business administrator. Those are people that you really, very early on, you want to have one-on-one conversations with, and you want to listen to them. And being new, they're going to want you to know certain things about their responsibilities. Whether they want to make the case why they're important, what they're frustrated about, what changes they want to see, but really make time for those people. And then one thing I did was, I strove really, really hard to see how those different departments, how they all interact with each other. Because in systems, it's the way in which they mesh that's really the success. You can have a great person here and a great person there, but if they go like this, that's really not what you really want to see. So I'll just say them again. Board attorney, buildings and grounds, building level administration, your CST director, and your school business administrator. If anybody else have left off that list? What do you think? Keep people to hit early on coming in.
If you're a bigger district and you have a curriculum director.
Okay. Anybody in board office, exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody in the board office who would work under you as assistant superintendents, people like that. That's my 566 kid bias coming out. You know, as a superintendent principal and the chief cook and bottle washer. So that's good to point that out. This one goes up there with the oracles also. What time do I go until? I don't even know.
So 11:40.
11:40. So you have time to get coffee, everybody. This goes up there with the oracles. Identify the sacred cows. What are the things in your district that are untouchable? Events, peoples, places. This was my grandparents' day that I brought up before. What are the things in your district that you really shouldn't touch? Northvale Eagles, the Norwood Eagles. We were joking that we share a mascot, we're a mile apart, that one of us should get a new mascot. I'm pretty certain that renaming the Norwood Narwhals would not have been a great move.